What's going on, guys? In today's video we're going to be talking about the great Bruce Lee. The question that many people speculate is if Bruce Lee was the original mixed martial artist. When the thought of the invention of mixed martial arts comes to mind, most people will think of the Gracie family and their presence in the original UFC competitions. Much of the credit should go to their family because they not only created the UFC, but their family's techniques are what Royce Gracie used to win the original UFC. While there is no debate on who started the UFC and how important the Gracie family was to the invention of MMA, the question still remains as to which people have had the most influence on not only the creation, but the idea and philosophy behind combining different mixed martial arts together to create a system. When people think about the philosophy through history of mixing different styles of fighting together, Bruce Lee has always been one of the most common names that is brought up as a possibility. Because he was very outspoken about his ideas, and that his martial art Jeet Kune Do was based on being the style of no style. He was in many ways the first martial artist to bring this idea and type of philosophy to a public level. One of the things that makes me believe you can call Bruce Lee a mixed martial artist is that there are many pictures showing the proof that he varied his training in different ways and was a student of many different disciplines. There are pictures of him training traditional martial arts, pictures of him boxing, doing arm locks, doing chokeholds, and even what looks like the original mixed martial arts gloves. Bruce Lee rejected many styles of traditional martial arts because he believed them to be ineffective for combat. He believed that being simple, efficient, creative, and economical was the best way to win a fight. These are the traits that led him to develop Jeet Kune Do, which was a philosophy of eliminating fancy arts and simplifying techniques. Bruce Lee had this to say about most traditional martial arts systems. Instead of facing combat in its suchness, then most systems of martial arts accumulate a fancy mess that distorts and cramps their practitioners and distracts them from the actual reality of combat, which is simple and direct. Instead of going immediately to the heart of things, flowery systems and artificial techniques are ritualistically practiced to simulate actual combat. This is a powerful message that Lee was trying to convey, and one that many people probably didn't understand or appreciate at the time. He believed that the effective techniques that truly worked in real combat were more simple than they were complex. This is still seen as a reality today in the UFC. For every fancy wheel kick KO, there have been hundreds of basic punch combinations and rear naked chokes that have finished fights and won world titles. Lee believed in being well-rounded, and he emphasized striking, kicking, and grappling. He believed in adaptation. He emphasized that a good martial artist should constantly seek evolution. That's why he would often change his training techniques, tactics, and modify techniques. Let's look at the origins of his martial arts experience. The largest influence on Lee's martial arts development was the study of Wing Chun. After losing several fights with rival gang members, Lee began training in Wing Chun when he was 16 years old in 1957. His training consisted of forms of hand drills, wooden dummy techniques, and sparring. While in high school, Lee was mentored by a man named Brother Edward, a teacher and coach of the school boxing team. In 1958, Bruce won the Hong Kong School Boxing Tournament, knocking out the previous champion in the final. Even at a young age, Lee was already cross-training and developing skills beyond the original style that he was taught. In 1959, after frequently getting into street fights, Lee's father decided his son should leave Hong Kong to pursue a safer and healthier life in the United States, so he sent him to live with his older sister in the US. Lee began teaching his style of Wing Chun in the United States. His first students were friends and fellow college students from the University of Washington in Seattle, where he was going to school. A controversial fight Lee had with Wong Jackman greatly influenced his philosophy about martial arts. Lee concluded that the fight had lasted too long and that he had failed to live up to his potential using his Wing Chun techniques. He took the view that traditional martial arts techniques were too rigid and formalized to be practical in scenarios of chaotic street fighting. Lee had this to say about mixing fighting styles. The best fighter is not a boxer, karate, or judo man. The best fighter is someone who can adapt on any style. He kicks too good for a boxer, throws too good for a karate man, and punches too good for a judo man. Lee decided to develop a system with an emphasis on practicality, flexibility, speed, and efficiency. He started to use different methods of training such as weight training for strength, running for endurance, stretching for flexibility, and many others which he constantly adapted, including fencing and basic boxing techniques. Lee emphasized what he called the style of no style. This consisted of getting rid of the formalized approach, which Lee claimed was indicative of traditional styles. Lee felt that even his own system was too restrictive, and it eventually evolved into a philosophy and martial art he would come to call Jeet Kune Do. While filming The Green Hornet, Lee met a man named Judo Gene LeBell. Gene LeBell is a well-known professional stuntman, as well as a highly respected judo fighter and instructor. LeBell taught Lee a lot about modern grappling techniques, submissions, and throws. Here is what LeBell had to say about his time training with Bruce Lee. He was the best martial artist of his time. Bruce started out with sort of a negative opinion of grappling, but after we worked out, he demonstrated that he had an open mind when he acknowledged how practical it was for certain things in certain situations. Some of the techniques I shared with him were leg locks, arm locks, hold downs, and judo throws. I've always been a big believer in cross-training. I believe that a person who is involved with the martial arts should know as much as they can about all styles. The martial artists that I disagree with are the ones who know only their art. They don't know anything about other styles, and they don't like anything else. Bruce developed and performed his own style of kung fu, and a lot of the traditional guys didn't like it, because it broke from the Chinese tradition. I know what that is like because I had the same trouble when I tried to improve different martial arts by changing things for the better. I believe that anytime you can have an open mind and learn something new, then add it to your repertoire, it's a good thing. It will only make you and your students more knowledgeable. Gene LeBell respected Lee because he was open to the ideas and techniques of all different styles, as long as they were practical and were effective in true combat situations. It has been over 45 years since the death of Bruce Lee, and his ideas and philosophies still carry on through the spirit he employed as a martial art great. He is truly an icon and still motivates young kids to begin martial arts decades since his passing. He has made such an impact on the martial arts that even UFC President Dana White calls him the father of modern MMA. When Conor McGregor was asked for his opinion on Bruce Lee, he said, "I have no doubt he would have been a world champion in MMA." So, was Bruce Lee the original MMA fighter? There is an argument both ways, and I'm sure that is a debate that will last a length of time. But there is one thing that is undeniable. Bruce Lee changed martial arts for the better, and that is something we as fans should all be grateful for. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And comment down below your opinion. Was Bruce Lee the original mixed martial artist? And as always, guys, keep it positive, keep it passionate. Thanks for watching.